In this world cultivation is everything, and the pinnacle of this world was the ancient devil king, who passed down all his knowledge in a single book, the Book of 9 Secrets. It is known that by practicing this book you can reach the world of heaven and have earth in the palm of your hand, and now this book was in the hands of our protagonist, Magic Emperor Zhao Yifan. This information didn't remain hidden for long, as all the martial experts in the land began to converge on his castle. As this happened, Zhao's disciple Zhao Qing ran inside to inform his master that the 7 emperors would soon be arriving to attack. Telling his disciple not to panic, Yifan proclaims that the 7 emperors are of no match for him. With this, Yifan stood up and walked to the entrance to his castle and exclaimed it was unexpected that his troops were defeated and that he will go to see those who were capable of this. As Yifan stepped out, all that could be heard was 100 voices yelling for him to hand over the Book of 9 Secrets. Yifan exclaims, "A bunch of insects dare to fight me." Yifan leaps forward and in a split second kills dozens of martial experts. After this massacre by the Demon Emperor, the 7 emperors arrived demanding he hand over the Book of 9 Secrets, stating they will spare his life if he does so. Yifan proclaims to the 7 emperors that he is the leader of the 8 royals recognized by Sanctuary, and that even if they all fight together, they are no match for his power. And why do they bother courting death? One of the 7 emperors responds by saying that Yifan is an enemy of the whole sanctuary and wonders if he truly thinks he is the strongest in the sanctuary. Another emperor states that the book is a relic of the ancient emperor and that they will take it back. Qing worries, stating that this is the strongest emperor of the Holy Land. Yifan smiles and yells out that if he is the enemy of the Holy Land, then he will destroy them all. Yifan's words then fall silent as a sword pierces through his back and burst out the front of his chest. With this he hears Cheng's voice saying that it is time for him to die. Yifan surprised yells, asking why he betrayed him after Yifan had raised him since he was young. Cheng then states that it was because Yifan refused to let him use the Book of 9 Secrets. Yifan scowls, responding, "You betray me for that reason." Whilst pulling the sword from Yifan's back, Cheng states he doesn't care what his lord thinks of him and that he can't escape. Yifan decides that he will destroy the Book of 9 Secrets and his own body so that no one can use it. In a bright flash of light, Yifan's body disappeared from the world. After the flash disappears, we see Yifan's soul heading towards the body of a young boy. As Yifan wakes up, he raises his hands and questions if this is his new body, as he didn't expect to be reborn at all. As Yifan stands up, he senses the presence of something behind him. As he turns around, there is a pack of green-eyed wolves glaring at him. The wolves then growl and charge at Yifan. Yifan then glares intensely at the wolves, telling them to fuck off. Wolves, birds and any other animals nearby run away, terrified of him. Yifan turns to hear a voice calling out, "Zhou Fan, please save me." As it turns out, this was the name of Yifan's new body, so from here I will be referring to Yifan as Zhou. Zhou realizes this must be someone who knows the owner of this body, and looks at him, seeing his power is in the 2nd layer. With this, Zhou decides to use him and steal his power. Zhou places his hand on the man's face, and is then questioned, "You're not Zhou Fan, who are you?" Zhou then mutters, "You're right, I am not. I'm Magic Emperor Zhao Yifan." Zhou then uses the 9 Secrets technique, Drain Touch, taking his strength by sucking out his very soul. The next day, as the sun shines through the forest, Zhou sits diligently cultivating the stolen strength so it won't be rejected by his soul due to the troublesome conditions of Drain Touch. Zhou takes a cloak off the dead body and mutters to himself that he didn't expect it to take all night to absorb the power, whilst forming electricity in his hand, sending it shooting into the distance and crashing into nearby rocks and trees. With this, Zhou thinks to himself, "Just wait, Emperor of the Sword and Zhuocheng, I'll be there soon. When I'm back in the Holy Land, it will be the end for all of you." Zhou jumps off from tree top to tree top, realizing that now this body has been repaired from 0 to the 5th level, but this is still not strong enough to go back to the Holy Land. Zhou then stops at a clearing and sees 2 groups fighting. The Luo family's head guardian shouts to the other group, calling them traitors, whilst the other side swarms them with numbers, attempting to steal the Hui Longzhang, a type of spiritual martial art that the Luo family has used for generations. The young lady of the Zhou family says sternly that they will never give it to them even if they die, whilst her younger brother argues that he will kill all the traitors. Listening to this, Zhou begins to feel that he has a connection with this Lu family and that he should get out of this area before something happens. Zhou leaps from the tree only to feel a shooting pain in his heart, shocking Zhou, freezing him in place. As Zhou falls to his knees, he contemplates what is causing this pain. Could it be due to this new body being incompatible with his cultivation, or maybe this body isn't suitable for cultivation at all? Zhou checks his body only to find his heart, breathing, and spiritual meridians are all functioning normal. Zhou begins to feel frustrated and worried about what could be causing this. As he looks back over at the Luo family's young lady, the pain disappears. On the contrary, when he leaves, the pain gets more and more painful. Zhou comes to the realization that this must be magic of the heart. For practitioners, this can be the same as a curse, making them unable to act against their own heart. Zhou begins looking through the body's memories to find the cause of this heart magic. Zhou sees a memory of the Luo family head proclaiming that Zhou's father sacrificed his life for their family, so now he will forever be their family and treated well. The young lady of the family Luo Yunchang always protected him, and the head guardian Pang Tongling taught him basic skills so he could protect the Luo family. When bandits came and killed the Luo family head, the young lady held the original Zhou Fan's body whilst he stated how he hated being so weak, unable to protect the Luo family. And this was the cause of the heart magic. Zhou's determination to save Miss Luo Yunchang and the Luo family will cause this heart magic to be triggered if he ever abandons them. Zhou grits his teeth in anger, annoyed he may have to be a slave for the rest of his life, thinking that he is the magic emperor of the Holy Land, and now he must serve this small family. Zhou punches a tree, causing a loud crashing noise to be heard through the forest, alerting the two groups to his presence. To Zhou's annoyance, both groups begin asking who's there with Luo Yunchang, asking if someone is there to help them. Pang Tongling replies to her, stating there's no way someone would be here this quickly. As he says this, Zhou steps out from the shadows of the forest, asking Luo Yunchang what's wrong with giving them the spiritual martial art, as it would be a bigger loss if she were to die. Luo Yunchang was shocked to see Zhou still alive. Zhou states it is truly a great miracle that he is still alive. Sun Guanjia glares at Zhou, stating he shouldn't dare talk as he is a mere slave to the Luo family. Zhou notices that Sun Guanjia has the largest amount of qi between them and worries that if they fight it will be a battle of life and death. Pang Tongling begins calling Zhou stupid and states he is talking nonsense because he is scared. Zhou doesn't back down though, stating that they are already on the edge of defeat and why defend it if they can live instead. Zhou in his mind is annoyed that this is all he can do with his current strength. Luo Yunchang shouts that he shouldn't speak nonsense and that he should run away. Sun Guanjia states that Luo Yunchang truly is kind, still trying to save a slave. Luo Yunchang replies, asking Sun Guanjia to please let him go. Sun Guanjia decides that it is best to kill the useless Zhou and then kill each of them one by one till they surrender. Sun Guanjia's men begin charging at Zhou, preparing to strike him in the head with his sword. Zhou takes this opportunity, spinning on his heel and swiping the sword from the opponent, then slashing him in half at the waist. This causes shock in both groups. Whilst Zhou thinks about how he can use this to his advantage, Zhou bolts towards Luo Yunchang and her younger brother, picking them both up, thinking how troublesome it is to have to protect these people. Sun Guanjia orders his men to chase after them, but before they can, Pang Tongling steps in front, commanding his men to make sure they do not get past them. Sun Guanjia curses Zhou, exclaiming he will crush Zhou's bones to dust and make his death painful. As the sun begins to fall beyond the far-off horizon, Zhou is still running away, much to Luo Yunchang's protest. Luo Yunchang yells out for Zhao to let them go, calling Zhao a dog slave, saying they need to go back. Zhao slammed down his foot, stopping immediately and dropping Luo Yunchang on a nearby tree. Luo Yunchang states they need to go back to rescue the family guardian. Zhao tells her that they can leave, but can they really beat the bandits back there? He then states, "Be gone, the enemy is looking for you, if you wish to die go search for your guardian." Luo Yunchang's brother begins complaining to Zhao about how he spoke to his sister demanding he returns them to the guardian. Zhao states he will smack him if he doesn't behave. Luo Yunchang's brother gets angry at this remark. Zhao gives a smug expression to Luo Yunchang's brother, then with a swift smack hits the young boy's butt. Luo Yunchang proclaims that Zhao is going too far. Zhao retorts that this was only a small punishment and much better than this little young master dying in their hands. Zhao then asks if there is a nearby place where they can hide. Luo Yunchang appears surprised at this, stating, there are several farms and a foggy forest on the west side of the Black Wind Mountain. Zhao, hearing this, decides they will head off immediately and tells her to hold her brother. Luo Yunchang proclaims to herself that when this is over she will punish Zhou. As the sky turns dark and the moon full, we see the misty forest, a place known for being difficult to escape from due to the dense fog. Zhao's group arrived at the entrance to Black Wind Mountain, whilst Luo Yunchang mentions that the chief of Black Wind Mountain is strong and that it will be worse than if they just returned to Sun Guanjia. Luo Yunchang mentions that it had been peaceful for decades and then suddenly the bandits attacked their family. Zhao smiles, stating this place is very good, making Luo Yunchang feel suspicious. Luo Yunchang tells Zhou to leave with her brother and that she will divert the bandits herself. Zhao immediately refuses the notion, causing shock from Luo Yunchang. Zhou states he isn't used to this terrain and that if she leaves he will immediately kill this child. This statement shocks both Luo Yunchang and her brother. Zhou then states that her leaving is the same as just giving up her life and that she should take care of the life that has been saved by her people because her life has value. Zhou then declares they will destroy Sun Guanjia and the bandits, here and now. The two siblings think Zhou is crazy and explain that Guanjia has a large amount of chi power and has 4 other strong people with him. They state he is not their opponent in terms of strength even if he teamed up with Pang Tongling, and ask what he possibly thinks he could do in this situation. Zhou responds, "What can I do? That bunch of rubbish is no match against me, Zhou Fan." Zhou states that if they listen to him he will help them survive and asks Luo Yunchang if she will fight for the hope of the Luo family. With this, Luo Yunchang takes off her ring and throws it towards Zhou, stating it is her family treasure. Luo Yunchang, blushing, then states if Zhou lies to her, she won't let him run away without punishment. Zhou then tells Luo Yunchang to rest easy and that he will resolve this issue. Zhou then disappears into the darkness. Luo Yunchang's brother begins talking about Zhou calling him an arrogant slave and that his sister should teach him a lesson. Luo Yunchang responds to her brother, who we now find out is named Yunhai, that even though Zhou doesn't show respect he did help them and this is better than those who are silent and bullshit towards them. Luo Yunchang contemplates that it appears Zhou Fan has changed. In the darkest parts of the forest Zhou is speaking to himself. Dong Qinglong, Zibehu, South Suzaku, North Xuanwu, Kairing Chong Central, the sky is straight and the sky is empty. With this Zhou finds his intended target, a natural spirit array. Zhou smiles to himself, muttering that it's too bad people don't know how to use them. With this Zhou casts 9 remote ghost gates open. The ring given to him begins to shine a bright golden light as Zhou slams it to the ground, activating the array and causing the fog across the mountain to completely disappear. Luo Yunchang is shocked at what just happened, and then notices a presence behind her only to realize it's Zhou Fan. Luo Yunchang begins questioning Zhou, asking if it was him who cleared the fog. Zhou states for her to follow him and he will teach her magic shackles and other spells, so she can kill them herself. This surprises both the siblings and Luo Yunchang questions if this is how they will defeat them. Luo Yunchang thinks to herself that the array method is something more valuable than any methods and martial art in this world. The first level array is the mystery of the Zongmen family. This first level array also has hundreds of thousands of lingji, which cannot be measured in price. Yunchang wonders how Zhou was able to use array formations casually when he was only a slave for their family. Luo Yunchang questions how he will teach her. Zhou responds by saying that it isn't important how, just that he will teach her. That evening Sun Guanjia's forces figured out that Zhou has entered the foggy forest. Pang Tongling screams out that Sun Guanjia better kill him or he will kill all of them when he escapes and avenge those who died. Sun Guanjia proclaims that Pang Tongling will be their guide through the misty forest as they are not familiar with this area, and then when he finds the young miss she will definitely trade the martial technique for Pang Tongling. One of Sun Guanjia's guards notices Zhou sitting under a tree. Zhou still sitting down smiles arrogantly welcoming Sun Guanjia saying he has been waiting for so long. Sun Guanjia responds stating Zhou is brave to stand before him. Sun Guanjia sends his forces to attack a still-sitting Zhou who looks up towards them confident in his own victory. Thank you for watching. If you like this content don't forget to like and subscribe.